All right. And this data set that has been given to you contains different data types. All right. Contains data type that is called numbers, text, symbol, and it likes. All right. Everything is encompassed in that data set. And you want to ask yourself, this data set that's been given to you is much. I mean, it's large. You want to find out how many cells in that data set that were entered that contains value. When I say value, I mean numbers. No, we have numeric data type. We have text or string data type. We have date data type. We have time data type. All right. Now, as we progress with Excel, I'll be telling you some of these data type. It's important that you know this data type so that when you want to analyze your data set, you know the kind of data type that your data set contains. Now, let's say, for example, we have this data from column A to column C. All right, please listen here. I want us to listen attentively. Okay, and this data sets, okay, contains student name as the column header. Score in math is a column header. Score in English is a column header. So when I talk about column header, you know what I'm talking about. This row 1, student name, score in math, score in English, they are all column headers. All right. But if you look at this student name is a column header. The content of that student name, if you look at it, they are all in alphabets. It means the data type here is text or string. All right. But for score in math and score in English, the information there, they are all numbers. So it means the data type there, they are numeric data type. Okay, so we have it just like that. Now, let's say, for example, that this data set is huge and the client give it to you to analyze. Now, you want to explore that data set. You want to understand the data set more. You ask yourself, this data set, how many cells were entered that contains number? You want to find out how many cells were entered that contains number. Now, this thing you are doing is part of data exploration, which we will treat when we get to that extent. Now, you just want to understand your data set the more. Okay? So we use the count function to do that. The count function is used to return the number of cells that were entered that contains numbers, that contains numeric data type. Right, that is what the count function does. It returns the number of cell entries that contains numeric data type. For the sake of those writing, I'll take it again. The count function returns the number of entries that contains numeric data type. Okay? Now, if the data sets, if there is a cell in that data set that contains alphabets, the count function will not count it. If there is a cell in that data set that contains symbol, the count function will not count it. If there is a cell in that data set that is empty, that does not have anything, the count function will not count it. Of explaining again, I said that the count function only counts cells that contains numeric data type. It is used for exploratory purpose. For me, I use it for exploratory purpose. Okay, I use it for exploratory purpose. Now let me dig deep. Let me dig deep. For example, please just look at this, guys, and put in the charts. For example, just concentrate on column A. Everybody concentrate on column A alone. Concentrate on column A alone. I want to differentiate something here so that we will not be confused when we get to the long run. Now, if you look at this column A, I want to ask a question. How many students do we have there? How many students do we have in column A? 11, all right? We have 11 students. No, it cannot be 11 students. Please, let's look at it. Column A, we have 10 students, okay? Now, how did you do it? You counted this number of students, right? You counted it 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 10. Okay. Now, if, for example, you want to analyze, this data set, you want to find out the number of students you have in this data set. You are using a function to do that. You want to find out the number of students you have in this data set. It means you're going to count. All right. However, if you use this count function we are going to treat now, you will not get the answer. Please listen to this. If you use this count function we are going to treat now, you will not get the answer because this count function only counts cells that contains number. Okay? So when we get to what is called power pivots, all right, a pivot table, when we get to pivot table, we will know how to start doing those counts I just talked about. All right, now let's explore. We have these data sets, and the client we want to find out how many cells are in this data set. So what it means is that I'm going to count from row 2 downward. You can see the entire cell I've highlighted. Okay, I've highlighted the entire. I did not highlight the column header. The column header, though it is part of the data set, it is used to identify the column. All right, what you are interested in is the content of the column header. That is why we are not counting the column header. Okay, so it means I will count from this Emily Johnson down to everything we have there. So we are going to use the count function. So I want my answer to appear in cell B14. Please, let's listen attentively. I want my answer to appear in cell B14. I will activate that cell. I will say equals count. You can see the telesis is here brought. So I know the function I want to use. I will go in there and pick it. So I want to highlight from row 2, everything in row 2 down to everything in row 11. I want to highlight everything in row 2 down to everything to row 11. So I want to highlight everything from row 2. I will click on that. You can see A2. I clicked on A2. I want to highlight to the right-hand side, then highlight downward. Okay, remember the SMART method I taught us. I will hold my control, hold my shift. Because I want to highlight to the right, the 4 directional key, the arrow facing right, I will punch it once. You can see it has highlighted to the right. I am still holding my control and my shift. I want to highlight downward. I will punch the 4 directional key, especially the one facing down. I will punch it once. Then I will close.